Hello, good evening, and welcome to the final Fatback 4 of the 2020-2021 season, where Liverpool have made it into the top 4 of the Premier League. Despite what Grizz has said for weeks on fucking end, Liverpool have made it into the top 4 of the Premier League on the final day of the season. There was a few twists, there was the odd turn, but Liverpool done the job themselves and beat Crystal Palace 2-0 at Anfield to secure what ended up being third place in the league. This show is, of course, brought to you by Manscaped, manscaped.com. Go there, go to manscaped.com, hit LFC DT in the little voucher barcodey place, and you will get 20% off with free shipping. We've looked after ourselves with Manscaped all season. We love every single thing about it, and hopefully we will continue to work with them throughout the summer and into next season. But listen, they've been great and their products are exceptional, and we really love them. So make sure you go and check them out, because by supporting them, you support us. With me, of course, is Keith, Seany and Grizz. Grizz has muted himself. I don't think he wants to talk to us tonight because of them 4 points. Them points he said we were going to drop, which we never did. But lads, before we get into the game, the season, the summer, Gene and Wijnaldum, the new charity thing we're doing, our new merchandise shop, all that's coming throughout the show, I want to just get your reactions on getting top 4. Now, we were tempted to do something straight after the final whistle, and then we said, nah, 10 o'clock is our slot, let everybody do their business, and then everyone will roll up at 10 o'clock for what we have to say. Seany, I'm going to start with you. Done the job today, but overall, 3 points is 3 points, but overall at the final whistle today, what was your feeling? Because it's been a long season, it's been a very disrupted season for us, but in the end, these boys came through, especially in the last 10 games, and I think it's an unbelievable achievement, to be honest. What do you think?
Yeah, it really is, considering how this season has played out for us. To finish in the top 4, it is some achievement, no matter what way you paint it. Today is just the feeling of relief. We were given a way back in. There was a lot of false dawns this year in terms of results going away and us not capitalising. But like I said on last week's show, I felt like Alisson's goal, it was more than just a goal. I felt like there was something very cathartic about the whole thing. Alisson leaving the pitch, being emotional, the players' reactions, just it lined up for us, Gav, and the stars aligned for the first time in this whole shit show of a season, because this has been a rotten season, an absolutely rotten season. And on top of that, it's been a tough year. It's been a tough year outside of football, regardless of that. And football is supposed to be an escape for a lot of people, and how Liverpool season turned out, it was anything but, you know what I mean? Because it's been tough. There's been some horrible moments, losing 6 on the bounce at home, Everton finally beating us at home in the league, and we didn't know whether when we were going to stop. We were in sort of free fall, but we've pulled this mental run out of nowhere, and I never felt like we were on it, if you get me. Not to me, anyway. I speak for myself. I was constantly looking, going, Jesus Christ, we seem to be always chasing the pack here. And then you look at the Premier League table after the last 10 games, and it's almost maximum points, where we drop points away to Leeds and we drop silly points at home to Newcastle. And it's title-winning form from these lads thrown together. And you just have to give props to Klopp and to the 13, 14 players who have been present in these last 10 weeks that have pulled us through and pulled us over the line and put us back where we should be, where we deserve to be. And look, you only have to look at the reaction by the rival fans looking in, going, how have these bastards managed this after everything that's happened? Yeah. They're all getting sick in their mouth, because it was our year to have a year off, and anyone could have snuck that 4 spot. And we said it in the WhatsApp last week. People were talking about leaving the door open for Liverpool. Well, we didn't get in the back door. We were getting in the bleeding bathroom window.
Oh, we were up in the extension, weren't we?
Yeah, trying to get through the letterbox.
Let me in. Keith, I was having to think about this earlier, and we will look at the season and kind of big points in the season in a little bit. But how big is this last 10 games, Keith? Because we know what's happened in October. We know what's happened with injuries and stuff like that. But I look back to Fulham at home. The lineup for Fulham at home was like he's thrown the towel in. And then results kind of go away. Even though we lose, results go away. And look, next of all, we're still in this. And then the Newcastle one was like, oh, that's where I wobbled the most. Newcastle at home, where I went, oh, this is a fucking joke at this stage. But then what do you do? Like, you know, the 10 games, Newcastle's in that last 10 games, but how big is it, Keith? Because I think it's absolutely massive. I'm going to say something in a couple of minutes that people will laugh at, but go on. What's your take on it?
Yeah, right, Gav, it's huge. Do you know what I mean? This run-in has been, I would say, sensational by Liverpool, because we've gone into this and we've settled on, to get us over the line, we've had Nat Phillips and we've had Reece Williams. Now, if you'd have said to me at the start of the season, that's who we were going to be relying on to get us over the line to get the top 4, you know, I'd have laughed in your face. Seany hit the nail on the head with the Alisson goal there. That was more than a goal. You know, if Nat Phillips had scored that, it's just another goal. Do you know what I mean? But the everything around it, it seemed to be the final momentum that sort of swept us on then. Do you know what I mean? How could we make a balls of it after that? Do you know what I mean? It was like, whether you believe in momentum or you believe in luck or you believe in destiny or all that sort of shit. For weeks we've been saying on here, I've certainly been saying it on here, the league is shy. Everyone else is brutal around us. There was nothing to stop us getting into that top 4, right? Nothing to stop us. And if you look at how it played out, do you know what I mean? It was, everything just fell the way we wanted. Now, the two drop points, sorry, the 2 games where we dropped points, Leeds and Newcastle. The reality is we should have got, like, the Leeds game is the night of the Super League show comes out, and the distractions. And I'm going to say Leeds, I like Leeds. That carry on was disgraceful that night. But that we drop points in a silly game. And then Newcastle, we fucking try to, you know, they get a goal, we get away with it, and we hand it straight back to them. 2 mad games. But it just didn't affect us. And that shows, we've said it all season, mentality monsters to mentality mouses, isn't it, Grizz? Mentality mouses. And this just showed that we thought they were mentality mouses, but they weren't. Do you know what I mean? They were still, you know, it's still these lads that are in there. It's still Trent, you know, who has his bad patches, but he overcomes all of them. It's still Robbo and Genie, who are absolutely bollocks tired, I'd say, and are still pushing on and still doing the job. You know, these players don't become shit all of a sudden. Do you know what I mean? We've said it here all along. You know, you lose Van Dijk, it's not an excuse. You lose Van Dijk and Gomez makes it harder. You lose Van Dijk, you lose Gomez, you lose Matip. You know, it puts a strain on every part of the team then. We had Alisson out. We had Adrian in goal earlier on in the season. You know, we had no continuity for the whole of the season. And it's probably fitting that we've ended up with the 2 lads playing as centre-back, because it symbolises this season. You know, 2 fellas that were playing in the 2nd division in Germany and the bleeding conference, wherever Kidderminster played, Conference North or whatever, in the 5th or 6th division, wherever it is in England last season. It was, Seany touched on it as well earlier, outside of football, you know, the world has been an absolute bleeding skid mark this year, and football hasn't been the escape that we've all wanted. We put a line through it now. We've got over the line here, and we can put a line through this season, because it's been absolute shite. Last day, whatever, we had our own interests in it. We'll all say, you know, we've done shows on this about being detached from football, being, you know, not being in love with it anymore. Well, we're still in love with Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? Like, we still love our team, and that's what all I cared about. I couldn't have gave a shit about what was happening in any other game today. Only the Liverpool.
Well, you could have cared if we were 1-1 and you had been looking elsewhere.
Well, no, do you know why? Because at the start of that game today, right, Leicester scored, I don't know what minute they scored, 15 or 18 minutes. And Sky were going on about, oh, Liverpool are out of the Champions League. It's 18 minutes in here. It's a home game. We're going through these motions that we do. Every game, we're getting a few chances, we're missing them. You know, but I wasn't worried.
Carragher had money on an equaliser, and there's nothing sure. Yeah. Like the way he was going on today, he was ridiculous.
Yeah, but people still act surprised by this carry on. It's mad.
No,
Ramez Khalil says, wow, Mane found his shooting boots. Fabinho and Thiago bossed the midfield. The defence looked fairly solid. Turned a 13-point deficit to Leicester and 9 points to Chelsea. Only shame is Mo missing out on the golden boot. The lad's been carrying us all season. He has, in fairness to him. What a season for Mohamed Salah. Like, people talk about his 44 goals in 17, 18. But Jesus, this season's up there for me. Yeah, this season's up there for me because of what else was going on. Like Keith said, the strain on the whole team, and Salah's been brilliant. Mark Gibbons says we still got more home points than the Scum, and they had a good season. 5 points, please. Grizz. Now, I held you to last for a good reason. So, Liverpool done it, Grizz. They won all the games that they were meant to win. Then drop points that you predicted at Burnley. Palace. Who were the last couple of games we played where you just kept saying this is the one where we drop it?
No, it was Burnley and Leeds. Burnley and Leeds, I said.
No, you just kept saying, yeah. Listen, we let him away with it because we know
that were they were the games he said.
I said Burnley and Leeds.
Yeah, but Grizz, how surprised are you and how happy are you with the fact that Liverpool have made the Champions League, despite you not believing that it would happen?
Well, inside, I knew it was a doddle. Never.
Do you know what, Grizz? I was gonna say there, don't pile in on them because that's the easy thing to fucking do now on social media. Is don't pile in on them and then you go and say that. So fucking have at you.
No. Look. Why do we love this club so much, and why does it mean so much to us? It's because of the shit they do and the things they take us through. The emotional roller coaster this team takes us through. And, you know, for anyone to, look, jokes aside, for anyone to say that they were confident and flying when, and thinking we're definitely going to make top four when, I think it's in December, when we're 8th, or I think it's 8th where we're 13 points behind Leicester. And then not soon after that, even Jurgen Klopp has that patch where he picks random teams, including a totally brand new back four against Fulham at home. And that gives you the indication like, wow, even Jurgen. And I think we all had a private chat and we thought, fuck, even Jurgen's thrown in the towel.
Yeah, it definitely looked that way.
You know, at that, and then, you know, this season it just couldn't stop giving us surprise after surprise, literally every week. And not only us, but the teams around us, which kept giving us thoughts that, look, if we can at any point put a 7-8 game winning run together, we'll fucking get in this top four. But the problem was we knew others were going to drop off, but we couldn't see us putting 7-8 wins together. That was the problem at this stage. Exactly. We done it. We managed to do it, and I said it even when I said we're not going to make it. I said if we do make it, that it's one of the best accomplishments by this coach in his career. I think thinking and talking like we have all season about the shit that he's gone through on a personal level, on his team's level, for his team players, the tragedy of his players, the contract situations of certain players, the stresses of Mo speaking in public, the stresses of the injury. Every week, he used to talk about in press conferences, I haven't checked with the people, but I'm expecting bad news today as well. Draining. It's like, how could it be? How did he have the mental strength to get through this? How did these players get through all that? And the last 10 games, put on a show. You know, it's taken 2-3 years for Jurgen Klopp to create this mentality in them, and it's not over. It's not, and I think Seany referenced it once in the show that it's not created over one season, right? And we were all thinking, me obviously, of course, like, you know, that this is not a mentality situation. This is there's nothing that they can do to get out of this rut. Yet they still rose from Phoenix, from the flames, and done this. And I thought, Gav, at the end there, I was in absolute joyous tears when I saw Phillips and Williams, blood pouring out of their fucking heads, hugging each other. Because they literally bled for us. And to see them two at the end hugging each other at Anfield when we've reached top 4, if you just take that back a season and you thought that was going to be the season, the season's ending scenes where you've got Phillips and Williams hugging each other, blood pouring out their heads, you would have thought, fuck off, are you having a fucking laugh? What the fuck does that mean? How did the season go? Well, read the book. Read the fucking book about this season. Exactly. It's an amazing story. I don't care what anyone says.
I think what Liverpool have done this year is the biggest achievement of any team in this league this season.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get. Go on.
Couldn't argue against that. I don't think. I think some might argue with that, but they know in their heart of hearts that they're absolutely lying, because that's a brilliant show, and I 100% back you on it, because you look at the narrative last week when United were only missing Maguire for the game. That's what you're talking about here. And then one thing that completely slipped the radar when we were playing Real Madrid in the Champions League, and Varane ended up getting COVID, and they had no centre backs, and everyone was saying, Jesus, look at Real Madrid, they're in a shambles.
Yeah.
That has literally been us since October. So it's gone unnoticed. The reason why it went unnoticed is because we were actually so good up until Christmas. So when the initial injuries and we started falling apart, we held it together for as long as we could. So I'm 100% with you, Gav. If you look back at this season and think where we were 10 games ago, Villa had a better shot at getting into the Champions League than us. It's ridiculous, to be honest with you. Quite frankly, it's unbelievable.
I had a good think about this after the game. Like we were all flying. We're in the WhatsApp group having the crack, and but I sat down and I had to think about this, and I looked at the league table and I thought, Man City have won the league, but I think Man City deservedly won the league, because it shows where you finish is where you finish. But I think if those injuries don't happen at Liverpool, I don't think City come near us, and I think they knew it. I think they had that look off them going in November, where they were kind of, I don't know about this, and they kind of got a sniff and they went for it, and that's fine. I think United have amassed 75 points. I think 74 maybe, 74. And they're crawling on as if they're the bee's knees. We finished 5 behind them with everything that's happened. I think West Ham have been brilliant. And they're really the ones that have taken advantage of the uncertainty around everything in football this season. I think Leeds have come up and have been a breath of fresh air. The way they've tried to play football, I think they end up finished 10th. I think 9th. But 9th. So they've been really good. But when I look at it, and I look at Liverpool sitting on 69 points, third place with what's gone on, when you throw everything together, I think it's the biggest achievement in the league this season by any club. And people will absolutely hammer me for that, but I think when you look at all the situations, the difficult situations we've had, and don't get me wrong, like Klopp is getting loads of plaudits, and rightfully so, for the last 10 games. I thought he was in a massive spin from late December to early March, and there was criticism of him, and that was fair. But I think the biggest, and that happens, that's absolutely fine. But I think when you look at it from there on in, the mentality, this mentality monster stuff goes on. But I think the mentality of not only Klopp, but his backroom staff, the players, everyone to go, listen, this is being shit. This is the way we're going to have to do it. This is the way we're going to have to play. And the likes of Thiago having to play a little bit different. And maybe Wijnaldum having to play a bit different. And the forwards maybe having to play a bit different, but making it work better. I think it's an absolute credit to them for the last 10 games in particular. And I'm extremely proud of what this side have done over this season. And you know what? That's the one thing that's come out from me. The second thing that's come out is that, like Seany said earlier, other sides are looking at that going, well, fuck them anyway. Because they were absolutely heavily relying on Liverpool being in the Europa League. Because it's well noted or well documented that Liverpool have been fairly good at handling this COVID situation financially. And I think people were looking at it going, if they go into Europa League, that puts them back and that gets us forward and stuff like that. I think it's as big for other clubs today, what's happened, as it is for us.
I'll say it now because we're over the line, and it's something I wouldn't let now. I thought we weren't going to make top four after the Fulham game. I thought Klopp's packed it in. Ending up in the Europa would have been a fucking disaster for us, because all of the hard work that's gone before these last 3 or 4 seasons for us to become perennial challengers. Apart from this season, but we know what happened. Like you said, Gav, we've handled this situation better than most, but I'd imagine that our handling in this situation would have been in the hindsight of those expecting that we'd still be in the Champions League no matter what happened. So if we'd have ended up in the Europa League, the financial implications, I'd imagine, of not making top 4 would have set us back maybe a year or 2. And that's massive in this case, because we don't actually have that much long left with Klopp. He might get... We're going to get on to what needs to happen in the summer, but he might get a restructuring into the squad and then go again, and then you're off then in whatever year. I think it's 2024.
24, yeah.
So it was huge. This can't be downplayed, how big this was, not just for fans and the like. It's massive for the club, because it means we can continue on this road that we were already on without any diversions, regardless of what's gone on before us this year. We can continue now and hit the reset button, and players need to tune out. Klopp, I think out of everyone in the entire club, from the 2 ones making the tea in the training ground, Klopp needs this rest more than anybody. Yeah. He needs this break more than anyone, because you can tell he wasn't feeling football the way it was. And we're getting back to real football. That's the reality. When you look around today, you see fans in the stadium, you hear the songs going off, the banners going. We're getting back to real football. We're getting back to reality. And real football suits us better than anybody else in the league. Anybody else in the league. We felt it more than anyone when we didn't have a crowd. And you get fucking Egypt saying the Anfield atmosphere is a myth and stuff like that. Well, have a look at that video Bleeding Alex Ferguson did with the Lad Bible the other day, when he talks about how intimidating Anfield is. He wouldn't even put fucking Gary Neville on the bench because he knew he'd be slaughtered, eaten. We've missed those fans more than anybody. We can give back to them now next year exactly where we left off, in the Champions League, and we should be fucking challenging on all fronts, and they need to do everything in their power to make sure Klopp has everything he needs. They cannot allow next year to happen what happened this year. Because he's fucking... Look, don't get me wrong, Gav. We were crowing at the end of January, start of February, about how let down he was by the owners. And don't make no fucking bounds about it. Jurgen Klopp was let down by the owners, and he's had to pulling them out of mire again with this. Don't let that fucking... Yeah,
there's only so many times you can go back to the well, though.
He can't keep doing this. He cannot keep doing this. So they need to just fucking back him now and let him go. Because like you said, Gav, with the extra bodies, I'm with you. I believe nobody touches us. I believe we're slaughtering all those bottom 6 teams at home. That's another, 18 points? 20 points? You're looking at another 90-point season. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Your granny had wheels, she'd be a bike. But we've done it before.
I love that.
You know what I mean? We've done it before. So they need to back him now. They need to back him. He's at the pulling them out of mire again. And they're under the microscope now. It's time to let Klopp rest and recuperate. And we need to be set up on the fucking first week of August saying, that's it. You're good to go.
Us or the lads, like us 4. Oh, we'll be match fit. No, we'll be match fit.
We're all right.
Yeah. Basti Fulton says, and he's really excited, and I like this. He says, "Come on, lads. What is this team about? When the chips are down, when push comes to shove, I presume he means, we are built different. The fight won't stop, and the lads won't give up. Won't give up unless you never walk alone. I fucking love this team. I like that. I like that. An absolute lot, Basti.
We're all about that sort of enthusiasm.
Keith, before I get to Grizz, I said there, like, you know, there is teams around us looking, going, oh, fucking hell. You know, and we've done it for years. You know, when someone sneaks into the top 4 and you're thinking, you know, do you remember when City start getting the money and Spurs done them for top four, and you're like, whoa, you know, that's another year out. And you know, when you see things happening, and you know, it's a little turning point. Now, I'm not saying it's a massive turning point for Liverpool, but I think it keeps them on a level where we could have went into the summer in Europa League going, we're not buying from the top table, and if we are, we're probably overpaying. And what's that mean down the road? And as Seany said, Klopp goes in 2024, which I believe he will. We're running on two tracks here. One is the club, and one is the Klopp track, where we're trying to get him as much as he can before he goes. Who's most annoyed tonight, Keith? Because I think it's Manchester United, because when they throw out a team like that against Leicester, and then throw out a team like that against us, to do everything in their power to knock us, and we still go and do it, I think it's United. But is there any other clubs looking around going, for fuck's sake, the fun's over?
I mean, it's easy to say Leicester, right? Because
we get on to them.
We will. But we've sort of had a pop at them in the past, and
we are right to.
More to come. But no, I agree with you, Gav. I think Man City fans and Chelsea fans will be sort of have a little an eyebrow up as well, because I think there was a lot of talk about next season Chelsea are the challengers to Man City and Manchester United. And Liverpool weren't getting mentioned because people thought, Liverpool have fallen off a cliff. Now, if we'd have gone into the Europa League, we know it changes funds and it changes the calibre of player you can probably bring into the club, despite what Klopp will say. But too many people wrote this team off. Do you know what I mean? Too many people for next season. It was as if, you know, we didn't lose the best defender in the world this season. It was as if we didn't lose his partner. It was as if we didn't lose our new signing Thiago after a game for 3 months. It was as if we didn't lose fucking Jota for 3 months. It was, you know, everything that happened to this team. Even Graham Souness said it today. You know, they lost their way and I don't know why. Well, I know fucking why, because they got all them injuries. Do you know, you can't lose the spine of your team and continue. And not even the spine, you lose the spine and then bits of the backup of your spine as well. It's not going to happen. Manchester United will be the ones that are fans. Now, fans must be fuming because, you know, they thought they were back there. You know, Ole at the wheel, we joke about that. United had a good season, but it was based on the fact that we couldn't be ourselves. You know, City won the league with 86 points, right? And that's olden day Premier League totals. You know what I mean? We're used to 90 minimum, and City are winning with 86. And when you think about it, as Seany said there, we've lost against the bottom 6 teams. You know, we've lost 6 games already against bottom half teams. Terrible. It's not like you're asking for much to say, well, we could have flipped them. Do you know what I mean? Or the 6 home games in a row where we didn't win. If you look at maybe City and Chelsea, I think are in that, you probably turn them into a draw, and it probably wouldn't be, you know, you're not going to say you'd win every game, but, you know, draw a couple of them. What this team, again, if me ma had ball, should be me that. But if the team had just done the business, we would have been flying again this year, but we dealt with the adversity, and that is a kick in the balls for all of the others. You know, Manchester United, Chelsea, City, they're the ones I think they're going to be the big dicks next season. They're the ones that are going to be challenging for the league. Well, Liverpool are going to be right there with them, no matter what we do. And I think we'll get on to what we think will happen in the summer, but I think Liverpool are going to have an extra bite next season, because everything you're hearing, it's all coming out about, you know, look, we let you down. The players are saying, we let you down. We know next season, watch us go. And I think they're going to be bleeding red hot next year to get straight back into the mix. We don't know what can happen. Anyone can get injured at any time. We accept that. Virgil van Dijk isn't so fucking superhuman. He can get injured at any time. But to lose him, and then Gomez, and then Matip, and then Hendo, and then Fabinho, and then it was one after another. You can't deal with that. Do you know what I mean? And you won't have another season like that.
Can I, Gav, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Grizz. Go ahead.
Go on, Grizz. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, while Gav cracks the can open and he's going to sort of probably ask me a different question, I just wanted to add something about...
I was going to ask that. I was going to skip you. Go back to Seany.
Yeah, exactly. So I might as well butt in. So, you know the bit about psychology of other teams?
Yeah.
And sort of how they must have felt fucking gutted, right? We know that. But... we discussed our charge a few weeks back, and do you remember we spoke about the fear of Liverpool starting winning games having an adverse effect on other teams as well. So not only did it help our cause, of course, when you win games, it fucking helps your points tally. But when the other teams know that it's Liverpool as opposed to a Chelsea or a Leicester, do you remember we had that conversation that it fucks with their psyche because they think, oh, they were dead and buried. All the media, all the pundits, they weren't even mentioning us. We were way behind. And so therefore they felt comfortable. You could see in Tuchel, Rodgers, Ole's, all the interviews were like sort of comfortable. Let's do what we're doing. But the moment we started winning games and they began to look over their shoulder, the pressure of Liverpool, the pressure of this Liverpool squad under Jurgen Klopp is fucking huge. We're intimidators. We intimidate teams very much like the Chelsea Mourinho, old Mourinho, and the Fergie United, where teams were intimidated. And that's the effect Klopp has on this. Obviously, you know, we've discussed the reasons why we couldn't take it that next level. Like, you got to remember, Man City, one of the best teams, you know, ever, whatever, only bettered their points tally from last season, lads, which was deemed an absolute disaster by 5 points. By 5 points. And we know our season was decimated. We could otherwise, as Seany says, we
30 points.
Those.
We lost 40.
We know we're a 90+ point team now every season. We know we've got it in us. So all these psychological things will absolutely be playing on these teams. And today they must be fucking gutted.
I'll tell you what,
we've ended up third. Oh, fuck.
Get on Mohamed Salah. Get on Mohamed Salah's Instagram post there. That'll tell you all you need to know.
What's he say?
They want blood. These boys want blood. Trent said it himself.
It's interesting. It's interesting you say that because I'm going to ask you the next quick question, right? And before I do, Bosty says a question for all of you: who's your player of the season and your favorite game? For him, it's Salah as a player, and the West Brom game. You never walk alone. Bosty, I've read that out, but we are going to talk about it, and I've noted it for later on as well, because I think we'll get a couple of different answers. But Seany, you're saying there, get on Mo Salah, and you know we all see going back a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a bit more than that, Mo Salah saying we're champions and we'll fight like champions, and you know.
Yeah, and he's had another moment there where he's at the saying, I'll just read it out there.
Yeah, go, yeah, absolutely.
He said, we went through a lot this season. The empty stadiums, coupled with the great hordes we faced, this would have shattered any other team, but not us. We've came towards it and we never stopped believing.
Oh man, I feel like going to wars, do something.
And you look at the comments from Robbo and the likes. These lads will be hungry and they will be haunting and they will have felt hard done by with the hand they were dealt this year on and off the pitch. Like I said, it's been a tough year for everyone. Injuries is one thing, but personal tragedies, that affected the whole squad. Klopp, Alisson, what happened with them? They all felt that. There's nothing surer that they all felt that. And it's thought about being kicked in the teeth while you are down.
Well, can I ask you something, Seany?
Yes,
I'm gonna ask you, right? Because and I think a couple of people in here are not a couple of people, but there might be someone there saying about Liverpool being the worst champions around. And Stephen Duffy says Chelsea finished 10th the year they won after the league.
Don't mind that.
After they won the league. Don't be minding all that. But
people on Twitter and people on Sky. It may as well be bleeding. The fat controller out.
It might as well be my missus telling you she doesn't even watch the football. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm going to ask you this, Seany, and this might be a little bit too optimistic or a bit wild, right? But you're looking at Salah there, right? And it's constantly being thrown at us over the last couple of months that, Salah, what's going on with Salah? What's going on with Salah? His contract, he's not talking. No one's talking about this. Why isn't it being done? Salah's in dispute and his agent and all sorts. And then you see what he's done there today, right? Or what he's written on Instagram there today. And it brings hope that he's going to be at the club next season and B, to get a contract sorted. Right?
Of course he will.
No. I'm just saying, you know, when that actually comes from the horse's mouth, to be honest, that holds a lot more weight than somebody just telling you, the agent or whatever it might be, right? And then you look at the injuries we've got, okay? But you look at the players that have stood up, the likes of Nat Phillips and Reece Williams, okay? And other players in that squad, like Trent's come on so fucking good in the last 10 games for me. And then the players that are coming back, right? And then Klopp, like we said, pulling her out of the fire. Yes, he got criticism, and that's absolutely fine. But he's done something. He's had to have done something over the last 10, 12 games to get this where it is. Seany, is a bit of a perfect storm here, where you have players that are coming back from injury, looking to put things right. Players that have stuck with us this season, looking to put things right. Okay? And players looking at, from the outside, looking at this club going, they still fucking done that. Yeah. I want to be part of that. And Klopp wanting X, Y, and Z to be part of it. And FSG, most crucially, where you're seeing January, you're seeing the European Super League, you're seeing the stuff with Spirit of Shankly, and FSG with their investment that's coming from Redboard, where they're kind of going, we've no choice. We have to absolutely put all our money on red here. You know, is that a possibility, Seany? Because I think it might be.
Yeah, it's a possibility, definitely. Is it a necessity in a way? Gav, we've been picking the bones out this season every Sunday for the last how long?
Months.
Since the start.
3 years.
And anyone who's been in the chat will know. We talked about this in February, March, when it was all going to pot, and we started looking forward more than back. So we started thinking, what do we do now? And the answer seems to always be, we need to sign X player, Y player, X amount of players, Y amount of players for this month, X amount of months out. We always talked about boy. But for me, the biggest thing that Klopp had to do with this team was to get the boy back from the lads who are already there. Yeah. So when you get to the top, when you win Champions Leagues and you win league titles, it's normal that players start smelling the roses a little bit, and there's a natural drop off, especially after the third year. Right? It was always going to happen. The big thing was getting the boy back in from the players that we already have there, right? So you're thinking, when does that happen? You're thinking that maybe that happens in the pre-season, after a break when players have regathered and we all come back and we see what happens. But Klopp has started that process in the last couple of weeks, because you can see already there's players starting to buy back in again. You see Trent's tweet, you see Robbo, you see Thiago, the effect that he's having. You see Salah's celebration against Manchester United. Yeah, Mane is still struggling. He got the 2 today, but he's still struggling. He's still trying. And the main part is that he's trying. And a big one for me is Bobby Firmino looked done at Liverpool, as far as I'm concerned, because he did. All right, now I'm not turning around saying we're ever going to see Bobby at his very best again, but he's been quietly excellent for the last couple of games. So you're seeing Klopp, he's not squeezing an extra drop out. I think he's been able to hit a reset button in a time when it was exactly needed, and he's had to get a boy back in from these players, and they've got jolts by big moments from Alisson. And when they see today, look, we can do that, that'll be different. Now, we need to supplement that in the summer with quality coming back in. Now, spending isn't, I don't think we need to buy 80 million, 90 million players. Just buy the right players for whatever the price is. It doesn't have to be fucking 150, 140 million. Getting the right players, going back to what we do brilliantly, is recruit. We've recruited excellently since Klopp has come in, and Edwards. So they've always done that job correctly. Phil always bangs on about Klopp haven't rebuilding yet. I think we've already seen the first bricks at the foundation of the next title charge and charge for trophies, because he's got the boy back in by these players. We can see that. Look at the form for the last 10 games.
Yeah, it's a great
point. The first phase of the rebuild has been completed already, ahead of schedule. So now we need to do whatever we can in the summer to make sure we're good to go in August, September, when the league kicks back off. But the signs are very positive, Gav. And I'm with you 100%. I don't think anyone will leave. I don't see any of the bit, unless they kick up out of us. I don't think anyone who's any use to us will leave. All right? We'll probably get on to Wijnaldum, but I'm just going to caveat what I'm saying here is to let Gino Wijnaldum go is 100% the correct decision by me, by the club. Mm-hmm. And I think it should be a tone setter for going into this summer, because we need to be ruthless. We need to be ruthless. We have this bias about Genie. I love Genie as much as any of these players from this squad. But I do think he's been on the wane. We can't be just giving out. Our wage bill is massive, so we've got to be clever in that regard. So I'm with Seany going, and I think we're well on track now. I think it's mental how this season has worked out for us in the end, because we're good to go. We just need to follow protocols, and we'll be there or thereabouts again next year, I believe, Gav. I'm with you 100%.
I was going to try cover some of the game today, but who fucking cares? 3 points and it's top four.
Right.
Delighted for Mane, absolutely thrilled for him. Williams and fucking Phillips walking around like bleeding Rambo. Loved it. And Thiago is a fucking joy, lads. Thiago is a joy. It's actually scary looking at him in a team with those two centre halves in it. Players absolutely on their last legs with regards to mental and physical fatigue, and he's just doing what he's doing. It's phenomenal. Go on, Keith.
It's a great point about Thiago, because for this season there's been the narrative that Thiago's some sort of flop, and Thiago is, even amongst Liverpool sort of, he's too slow. Everyone bought into that shite that he slows us down. He doesn't slow us down at all. But rival fans and all, flop of the season, flop of the season. And now he's coming into it. You know what I mean, Grizz? He's motoring now, and he finishes the season strong.
No, Keith,
and you look at what it's going to be.
Keith, he's not motoring. He's teaching all the Premier League's midfielders how to play football. He's taught them how to play football now, because he's shown.
The only worry is they were building lumps out of him today.
Yeah.
Shawnee, we were on a chat from the Trippers account yesterday. Spaces, which has gone fantastically. Everyone who helps.
Spacers.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Everyone who gets involved, thank you.
Yeah, it is. It's brilliant. In fairness, it is.
Stuff.
It is.
And so, like, we've built a community in there as well. It's brilliant. Trippers all the way. But someone asked something about Thiago and his fitness, and I said that's an absolute,
stupid point to go home.
That's down to his excellence as a professional. His elite professionalism and mentality, that the way he's become fitter, he spoke about it, and he spoke about how in this league you realize you don't even get fucking time on a throw-in. Like, there's a ball ready next to you. There's no resting. You don't get a chance to breathe. And people were talking about, he's struggling. He's like a second behind, and therefore making the bad rash tackles, yellow cards, etc., etc. The way he's stopped even making bad decisions, it's a sign of his professionalism, how he's adjusted and he's learning, even though he's the top dog, even though in my lifetime he's probably the best player we've ever signed, yet he's come and humbled himself, playing with the likes of Phillips, Williams, no disrespect to them, right? But he's talking to them like, they're prime Kimmich and prime Boateng, where he's playing with, or PK, do you know what I mean? And he's talking to them, he's humbled himself, and he's excelling. That is a sign of his elite mentality. Look at the passion he's shown in some of the games. How much it's meant to him already in a short span of time. That could be any player sort of, we've scored, he doesn't, but he's feeling it already. He's made himself part of the fabric, and that's absolute testimony. And that's why Klopp insisted on him, not because he's just an elite footballer, but the whole package. He's actually maker. Another brilliant point I made yesterday was
we're doing lists. We're doing lists of brilliant points, Grizz, mate. I love it.
You should have been in the spaces. You should have been in the spaces.
And the great point I made today.
You should have been in the spaces, because we often talk about Henderson, Milner being his lieutenant on the pitch, right? We talk about Jurgen Klopp and Henderson and Milner and the like being his lieutenant on the pitch. This guy is his tactician on the pitch. And it's so clear to see. Finally, he's got someone, not only is an inspirational leader, but tactically knowing when to pass, who to pass to, weight of pass, execution of pass. He's fucking magical, this kid. I'll call him a kid, because compared to me, he's a kid. But he's fucking magical.
The best
baby compared to you.
Grizz hit the nail on the head there, the way he humbled himself. Like, if Thiago's in boxing terms, these last few weeks, he's bitten down on his gum shield when it hasn't gone well for him, and he's said, right, fuck it.
Yes, sir.
Pull up my socks and head for, and he's carried us. Him and Nat Phillips, make no bounds about, and obviously the goals from Salah, are mega. We don't realise, because he's just done it for so long that we actually want to take for granted.
Yeah.
I think Salah is the most disrespected footballer in the history of the Premier
Ever.
League.
Yeah, he is.
Ever.
He is. I think.
Well,
Do you know
100%.
something? If Salah was around when, say, Thierry Henry rocks up in 98 or 9, whatever it is, they would have him on fucking billboards everywhere, right? Sky would absolutely run everything about Salah, or everything about Sky on Salah, but he's so fucking disrespected. I'll get on to him in a minute because
we got fucking. But this last 10 games, we're after having a prosthetic spine, and it just happened to be very solid, and it literally.
Have you read that comment?
No, go on, throw it up. Oh no, before you do, don't throw it up yet. Rafa says, in my opinion, Alisson's goal should win goal of the season. What it meant, the time it was scored, and the technical ability puts it right up there for me. People are asking about these Twitter spaces. Listen, if you follow the LFC Daytrippers or Grizz or Avi on Twitter, right, them two boys seem to be mad on it. And all you do is, on the top of your feed, where there's, what are those other things they do on Twitter? Fleets. So it comes up there and it'll say Grizz plus whoever. So +3, +4 means how many people are speaking.
But it'll be a different colour, so you'll know
it's purple.
The normal
you click on it, it allows you to connect with you connect, and you can hear these people talking. If you're on your phone, just stick a set of earphones with a mic into your phone and request to talk, and the lads will let you in and talk. Just 200, 300 people in there at times at night, and it's really, really good. It's not set like this is where there's 4 lads talking. They let people in and have a chat and drop them back out and stuff.
It's absolutely it's absolutely all about the more people that want to give their opinion that don't get a chance to come on a chat or come onto one of our pods or whatever. It's absolutely about their voices, and we try to rotate the speakers and give everyone who's a subscriber of LFC Daytrippers by now, hopefully, give a chance to air their opinion, and it's gone brilliantly so far.
Well, Stephen Dunn says the same spot as live broadcast on Instagram. Exactly. Up the top of the Instagram bar, you'd see live. What are you saying? Yeah, for you don't have Instagram.
My son told me.
Says, up the top there, you'll see where people are live, and it says live. This just comes up and it shines a big circle around it in purple, and that's how you know what it is. Sorry, I might have knocked the comment you wanted on the screen back off. Did I?
No, just let's go. Grizz Khan is the minister for giving himself pats on the back.
Oh yeah, another great point. I'm getting that on a t-shirt. Another great point I made yesterday. That's exactly what I'm going to get done. David Lennon says, bring back Periscope. David Lennon, all you have to worry about is the forfeit you have to do for our charity when we sell X amount of tickets. And for anyone that doesn't know or didn't watch it on David Lennon has to go on to one of the naughty trains dressed like he works in the food cart at the end with a bag of cans, handing out cans of harp and pretending that people have ordered them. It's mental, but you'll understand. Darius says that tweet spaces is madness. Grizz went off on some bloke as to why he blocked him, laughing my ass off. I don't know what's going on there, but
basically, Gav, you're drinking.
Is it possible to watch them back?
No, you can't. It's a live thing. I've unblocked about 60 people. Whatever like Gav, I've unblocked. Everyone's like, Grizz unblock. I said, all right, then go and fuck. But explain to me why I blocked you. And they're explaining everyone. You're
a
sap.
Grizz,
the principal's office and you have to tell them what you did wrong.
It's like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of, remember Red in the Shawshank Redemption, where he used to have to go to the hearing every 10 years. Tell us why you should be allowed out. And he never gets let out.
One guy had to sing for me. He wants to get unblocked.
For fuck's sake. But listen, let's get back to this, and I want to look towards the summer. Right, we're gonna talk about the summer. We're gonna talk about Gini Wijnaldum, and then I want to give a huge shout out to the latest GoFundMe that we're supporting. Grizz, I'll stay with you because you made a claim that if Liverpool get top 4, that they will absolutely be in for Kylian Mbappe. Now, Lille have won the French title tonight. Kylian Mbappe apparently said we have failed to win the title and we move on, and he was asked another question and didn't answer and walked away. The big thing is that Real Madrid look like they're all over Kylian Mbappe. What do you want to see for the summer, Grizz? What you'd love to see, or what you think might happen? What do you want to see for the summer? Because I think it is a big one, Grizz. It absolutely is a big one.
Gav, the word of the season is legacy, isn't it? This word legacy has come out. Legacy fans, whatever. I think this is a legacy summer for FSG, and we've been discussing it all winter, haven't we? We started the discussions around Christmas time, and we thought January they're going to do something, and then we said, all right, look, well, it's fair to say that they're assessing where they're going to end up, and then they can work their way towards, making final planning for summer. And we've discussed how fucking huge Champions League football was. Today alone was a £58 million game. That's how much today's game was worth. And not only that, lads, 60 million, because we ended up finishing third, which is another 2 million extra for finishing third, right? And we don't have to qualify. Remember that as well. This is automatic qualifications. So today,
you have to qualify or fourth?
No,
you don't. No, you don't anymore. Sorry, I beg your pardon. But today's
remember the way UEFA changed,
yes,
to accommodate these big teams not having to go through qualifiers.
Absolutely.
Maybe
and I was getting disheartened because people that I speak to are saying, look, without Champions League, it's a grim outlook in terms of we have to rely on the magic of Edwards and finding gems where we can't go huge. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that we are in a better financial position than I'd say 80 to 90% of teams in Europe. 100%. We are 80 to 90% better. 100%, I believe that we're better than 80 to 90% teams in Europe financially. There is absolutely no excuse for FSG. I know you got that. There's absolute no excuse for FSG not to, as we say, back Jurgen Klopp in the market. Now, it's not about backing Jurgen Klopp. It's about how we've discussed the new or the next great Liverpool team. Now, this is a great Liverpool team, but with the likes of Milner, Henderson, Gini, all coming to the last days of their career, I truly believe this summer, Gav, we laid down the foundations of a backbone of a new Liverpool, and I 100% believe that we will.
Okay, well, after all that, Grizz, are we signing Kylian Mbappe or what?
We 100% are in for him. Definitely, we're trying to look. I've told you the financial situation is not an issue. It's persuading the fucker. So if anybody knows him personally, Instagram, Snapchat, everything, just have a word, because it's all about persuading him. We are ready with the money.
If he needs persuading, we don't want him.
Madrid has always been his dream. That's his boyhood dream. So we can't argue. We can't fight that. We can't change his mind easily.
Thomas Grafison and all.
It's going to take a huge effort.
Thomas Grafison.
But I tell you what. If I'm telling you now, we are in a position. We are in the best position to go for a marquee signing than we've ever been. And I truly believe that. Mbappe or Sancho, go on, hedge your bets. Go and do it.
Tell you what, lads, co-creator. See Heung-min Son. I'm telling you now, we should be rattling the cage there.
They would say.
I know he's not the youngest, but I'm telling you now, that fella in our team. Woof.
Yeah.
Matti,
one of them out there,
Matti Tariq says the guys on your shirt will never walk alone, Grizz. The guys on your shirt.
Free Palestine.
Palestine shirt, yeah. Champions League, baby. Norway, note this, Grizz. Norway will look to your guidance all summer long regarding transfers. Don't let us down. That is a compliment and a threat at the same time, which I'm really into.
We will be starting the transfer agenda show. Well, we'll talk about it afterwards, but let them know that we have.
Oh well, we have loads of plans. Loads of plans.
So
loads of them.
Don't worry, Morty. We got you.
We got you, Matty. And Mr. Slack-a-lot has asked for one player from the bottom three that you would sign, if you could sign, or if you had to sign one player from the bottom three.
Fulham, West
Brom, and Sheffield United. So we'll answer them really quickly at the end, okay? Keith, the summer. We all know that the Wijnaldum stuff. We get onto that in a couple of minutes, but what do you expect from Liverpool this summer? What do you want? What do you want to see? Forget what you expect from Liverpool. What do you want to see Liverpool Football Club do this summer?
I've said for a while now that I think they need to look at rebuilding the team, and I said I'd sell Mane, for example, a few weeks ago and got lashed out for that. But I just think we're in a precarious situation with contracts, because you know, we offer a low, not low, we offer a base salary and then a heavily incentivized by success. And the reason our wage bill is fucking sky high is because we've been successful. Now we've got Salah, Mane, Firmino, Van Dijk, Fabinho, Henderson, all due contracts at the end of the season after next. So it's a tricky position we're in now. And like Seany said earlier, Genie, absolutely love him, but it's the right thing to move him on, because we have to start looking to, I think, making the squad a bit younger. So do I think we need an Mbappe? I think if we signed Mbappe, it would be like a statement. It would be a statement of intent that, right, we're going at yous next season, City, and we don't give a shit what yous do. We're going for everything now. Will they do that? I don't know. Seany said something about it has to be the right signing, and I'm all about the right signings. Mane, Salah, Firmino, all these, they weren't the top draw players. They were players that were hungry and had something to prove, and that's what got us success. So do we go back to that? I would like to see us doing that. I think what we need to do, if the Konate stuff is true, we get Konate in, right? Kabak, I don't know what the story is with him, because
I'd leave him.
Yeah.
Konate will be announced probably by the end of next week, if not the following week, definitely.
Oh, yeah. I fully expect that one to go through, right? So that's given us then, Virgil, Gomez, Konate, and then Matip. I mean, I'd move Matip on, personally. I'd move Matip on for whatever you can get for them. So do you keep Nat Phillips? Move him on as well, maybe. Give him his chance. We've said on this before, you know, players leave us. They don't owe us anything for what they've given us, you know, over the last few years. Well, Nat Phillips is the same. Nat Phillips doesn't owe us anything. We tried to get rid of him a few times, and he's come in and solidified our season. So whatever he wants to do is fine. So it might be a case of bringing in Kabak as well. You don't want to have too many not injury prone, but recent injury centre backs. We don't want another situation like that. But I think midfield, we have to bring in at least one more body with Genie going. Now, what I'd do, I'd get rid of a few of them out of midfield. But Liverpool, we all know Liverpool won't. They won't be ruthless. They won't cut ties unless we get whopper deals for Naby Keita, for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. If we don't get beat, I can't see us looking to move them on for cheap. Right? So then, up front, what do we do? Do we keep the front three with Jota as well and add in a big one? You can't. I don't think we can do that without one going. So I'd move Mane on. So it's. I don't know what way they're going to do this. I would move some of our first team players on and bring in first team players to replace them. But I would maybe do that with two players, and then two of the level of players we bought before that. You know, have that, like Konate's 21, he's at Leipzig. He doesn't have a track record of success. That's a good signing, in my opinion. That's a profile of a good signing that we should be bringing in. Basuma, I personally would go for others over Basuma myself, but look, he could turn out to be a fantastic player. And then if they're going, I'd move Mane on only if we were getting a top level forward. If I'm not, we go again and we bring in a player that's, you know, of the Jota level, a player that maybe will surprise us, and then you're maybe rotating. No, I don't know. Basically, what I'm saying is I don't know what the fuck we're going to do.
Just before you get to Sean here, and just very quickly, because I'm getting a bit of stick in the thing about saying a new spine. I'm not saying the current spine is finished. What I mean, the foundations of a new spine, and what I meant by that is the next spine. Sort of at the moment is Virgil, Fabinho, Salah. What I expect this summer, and maybe just adding on to what Keith said, is I don't expect those squad signings to be made, Keith. I'm expecting 3 first teamers who are going to be the new spine after the current lads. So Konate, I'm expecting him to be the Virgil. Do you know what I mean? Whoever we sign in midfield, if it's a Hossamoa or a Basuma, to be the new, you know, and then a striker who's going to be taking over, not a squad member who's going to be like a Jota was a rotational player, brilliant squad player. To be rotated, I'm expecting a new spine, and I'm totally confident we will get that.
Yeah, we don't need a security, basically.
No, that's what I meant. Yeah, that's what I meant. It's new spine.
Shawnee, the lads have given me that fucking life story there. What do you reckon for the summer? Who's out? Who's in? What would you like to see?
I think there's a good few that have to go. Definitely. Just we need to look at who's available and who's not available for the most part. That's what I think. I think that should be the number one thing Klopp needs to be looking at in August, saying who's going to give me 30 games a season without any hassle. Right, they stay. The rest they can go. So I'm saying the likes of Ox, Naby Keita, Matip, wield the hammer, get them all gone, wield the axe, bang, out of squad. Simple as that. Thanks, but no thanks. No issue at all with Seany leaving. Being a wonderful servant, great player, but we can only talk, we can only guess about the sort of money he was looking for. But if he's looking for parity of the big boys, yeah, he's been good. He's been very reliable, and he's been a mainstay in the team. Is he worth the same money over that time? No. Is he going to improve? No. Is he going to deteriorate? Yes. So you need to be ruthless in these situations. Origi, thanks for the memory. Good luck. Out the gap. Shaqiri, out the gap. No, these boys are no use to us. Absolutely no use to us. You need a solid 15 or 16 to challenge on all fronts. All right, I'm happy with Kelleher. I'm happy for Kelleher to be second choice. Honestly, I'd have no issue if he was called in to play again because Alisson is quite injury prone. It's a fact. All right, I would go into the season with 8 centre backs if I had to. If I meant we never. No, honestly, Gav, if it meant we never had to play a centre midfielder, I'm in centre back. That's what I do. I'd protect this team from having an issue next season in midfield the way we had one this year in centre back. So I don't want to have an issue where maybe Henderson's out, Fabinho's out, Thiago's out. Bodies and quality. That's what we need. So if you're thinking 4, right, Harvey Elliott comes in, I think. Although some may think he's too young. I would literally give, unless he really wanted to go out and play ball again for someone like a Norwich or a Swansea if they come up or whoever comes up, I'd say to Harvey Elliott, you're actually getting Shaqiri's role and you'll be used sparingly throughout the season, and I'd be okay with that. The one where we need what Kanate looks done, more or less, as Chris said. So yeah, looking at a starting midfielder, and then for me it could be a starting forward. Now I don't know what they're going to do in terms of the forward. I'd say a Sarr or a Daka is more likely than an Mbappe or a Sancho, and there's nothing got to do with money. It's just I just think that's how we roll, Gav. We make players world class. We absolutely do. Boy world class players. We don't normally do that. So I'd love Tielemans. Yeah. I'd love Yuri Tielemans, and Tielemans is a player who has.
You just continue there. I just have an alarm going off here. 1 second. You keep going.
I'd love someone like Yuri Tielemans. You know, he's the full package already. He's been ripping her up at Leicester. He was highly coveted when he was at Monaco. There'd be loads.
Even at Anderlecht, he was highly coveted.
There was so many. I think United wanted him when he was at. I'd like someone like Tielemans because I know Tielemans will come in. He's big balls on him as well. I don't think it phases him having to play in these big sides because he's one of Leicester's most consistent player.
And he's off.
Yeah.
Make no bones about it.
He done a walk around, didn't he? He done a walk around clapping the fans and floods of tears today. He's only got 2 years left on his deal.
Yeah, not only that, they've been trying to renew his contract all season.
Yeah, so then if we're not in that queue, then we're doing it wrong. We should be in the queue for him because he's an excellent player. His range of passing, he has a bit of Steven Gerrard. He's got a bit of Steven Gerrard about him, Tielemans. And I'm not saying he's as good, but he's brilliant. He's an animal. The fella's built like a fridge and he flies around the pitch and he has all the attributes. He would definitely be looking at. We need to be careful in terms of AFCON because we're going to be missing. This is important for this summer because we're going to be missing bodies in January and February. So we need to be looking at AFCON and thinking we don't want to be taking any player that's going to be going there. Although you're signing them on 4 or 5 year contracts, we need them for the here and now because it goes to show how key it can be having the bodies there. So I don't know. I think if it wasn't for his past, we'd definitely be on Luis Suarez. I don't think the club will touch him after what happened to him at Liverpool. Other than that, I definitely wouldn't be against having him back because he's a killer. Yeah. He is a killer. And in games when we've needed a killer this season, we haven't got them. I'd like to see a change of approach. I'd like to see a big number 9. I'd like to see a centre forward heading, bleeding, trench crosses in the way Alisson did week in, week out. How nice would that be? So I think that there's a good bit of work to be done on this squad. Make no bounds about it. I definitely think there's a bit of work to be done this summer. More so on the outgoings. And that's where I think we struggled, Gav. That's where I think Edwards has struggled. I think apart from selling Bournemouth fucking everyone and that dog. He sold Bournemouth everything. He's got to get better at that this year. He's got to get better at moving players out quicker and getting fees in, because although it is sell to buy, I don't think it will be sell to buy this season. I do think, but it will help. Like sales will supplement us going for the big names that we need. Like Grizz says, we don't want to be bringing in players that go on the bench. We want to be bringing in players to dislodge your first 11s. It's like iron sharpens iron. Isn't that what they say? You look for a perfect example. Look, United spent good money on Tellez this year. He ended up being the best signing of the season because he turned Luke Shaw into the world-class left back that he is. So you need to light a few fires around the squad by bringing in these players. So you look at when Jota came in, the effect that he had. So let's see. There's work to be done. Make no bounds about it. I'm not enamoured by the big Disneyland signings. Don't get me wrong. If that's coming around, that's reality, and there's a chance of these happening.
Soon come around to that way of thinking.
I'll have the lipstick.
Yeah, you will.
You will.
Mickey Mouse ears and all, and you're not a bother.
Leave Seany to me. Leave Seany to me. Leave Seany to me.
So Charlie be telling you he wants the right deal, and then when Mbappe's fucking down at John Lennon Airport, the Charlie be like, "Look at this, lads. This is the business."
Like Grizz will tell you, when the Thiago thing was coming around, I was like, "Nah, fuck off, will you fuck off?" And then when it actually ended up coming to it,
when he actually came to fruition, there was 3 a.m. WhatsApp conversations taking place. 3 a.m.
Just declaring his love for Thiago Alcantara.
You know, I only noticed I follow Thiago's sister on Instagram.
Of course you do.
Why do I follow her on Instagram? I was trying to get every little. So that's what football does to us, lads. That's what it does to us.
Legacy summer, lads. Legacy summer. Bring on the transfer agenda show.
Kieran Thorne asks, who was Grizz getting on the back of his shirt next season? Well, Grizz obviously and other influencers weren't gifted with new jerseys during the week. Grizz is doing some sort of protest now where he refuses to get names on jerseys.
Kieran's lost a bet with me. That's why he's asking, because he owes me a shirt now, and I've told him I'll tell him which name to give me. Yeah. So
what was the bet?
We won't say it because Kieran hasn't mentioned it, so I want to keep his keep it private. But he lost a bet, and he's buying me a Liverpool shirt with whoever I want on it, and I'm going to be privately messaging the name I want on the back of the shirt.
Well, there's Red Steve at the charm one there. Is that Seany saying he's doing a show on a Mickey Mouse suit when we sign Mbappe? Do you know what? Hold me to that.
Will you do that?
We sign Mbappe. We sign Mbappe. The things us forward do.
I'll get on to the missus and she'll have a blade Mickey Mouse blade, a Minnie Mouse. So I'm telling you, I'll be all in. I'll be all in. I'll just take everything. That's the way I am. The boys know that I'm an emotional egg. That's the way I am, boys. That's how I handle it.
Fair play to Kieran for filling.
I know Kieran's a great skin.
He's a top guy.
Yeah, he really is. What was I going to say to you? I think we've touched on Wijnaldum a little bit. I wanted to talk about Wijnaldum, and you feel that he's probably the right time to go. But he's been I'll just say it. I think he's been an absolutely fantastic servant for this club from the time he's walked in the door until what looks like he will leave. I'm still holding out some hope, because I'm gutted he's leaving. I'm absolutely gutted he's leaving. Yeah. Both in a personal sense of the man himself, but in a footballing sense as well. I think there's more value in others leaving than him. But look, that's the way it goes. I'm still holding out hope that something could happen. But he's been phenomenal, Gino Wijnaldum. This is a guy that turns up, and he was I think he was playing as number 10 for Newcastle.
Yeah.
And they've brought him in. He's been in midfield. He's played in a 6. He's played at centre half. He's ran himself into the ground for this club. Yeah, he's played as a false 9 in the new camp, I think.
Yeah.
He scored some huge goals for Liverpool. Like obviously the ones in Barcelona are home to Barcelona are big, and then you have the likes of Cardiff away in the league when we were running for the league that season.
Yeah.
You have Roma away in the semi-final of the Champions League. And something, the biggest testament I can ever pay to him is, people would have thrown stuff at him like, in away games he's this, in away games he's that, but you never heard anything from him. He never gave any trouble. He never. The only one time he ever did, and it was when you looked at him and that's what this squad is all about. After the Barcelona game, he says, I was annoyed that I was on the bench. But what did he do? He didn't throw a fit. He didn't go mad. He didn't throw toys out of pram. He went on the pitch and scored 2. Just got us through. An absolutely unbelievable servant for Liverpool Football Club. He will go down, for me, as, like all them players that have won the league last season, as one of the greats, because simply the weight of expectation and pressure on them last season was huge, and then you had COVID thrown in and the weight. But Gini Wijnaldum, looks like he will go. It looks like he will leave, but what a servant to Liverpool Football Club. And I hope that he gets a really good move. I hope that he has 3, 4, 5 years left in him. But my wish is that at some stage a man like that comes back in some sort of role at Liverpool Football Club, because how could you not like him? How could you not respect him? And how could you not just look at him and go, what a bloke? So all the best to Gini Wijnaldum if he does go, because there's still a bit of doubt, and I'm just hoping against hope. But what a servant! What a servant to Liverpool. I don't think he will. I think if he goes, I think you'll probably look at somewhere like Inter Milan, Bayern Munich, someone on Barcelona.
He won't be short of if he's available late, the Real Madrid and all will be looking at him.
Yeah, and I think rightly so. I think because the impact he's had on this side, and not only in the big goals he scored, but just the work rate and the levels he's kept, and just being a brilliant member of the squad. I think it's absolutely amazing. Kieran Thorne reckons he'd be in a PSG short.
Timing is everything in football, because we could have an alternative reality. Gini signs a contract for 150 grand a week, and then all of a sudden his level drops, and then he's getting slaughtered by fans online and pundits and stuff like that. So there's always, I think it's the right time for both parties to part here. Although we're emotional about it because it's in the now and it's recency. He deserves a move. He deserves a big bumper contract for his last couple of years. He owes us absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Even after what's gone on this season, he owes us nothing. So all the best to Gini Wijnaldum, a Liverpool legend in my eyes.
I would, and people argue whether you use the word legend or great. Listen, you go down in my book as a legend of Liverpool simply because he was part of that side that won a league title that I've waited, and all of us have waited for 20 years.
Part of that, not just a jobber.
He's huge, and the evolution of this side from Klopp and 2016 right through to now, and what they are, and even the last bit of that evolution where they've had to absolutely dog it out for 10 games at the end of the season to get where we are and look forward to next season. I think he's an absolute credit to himself and his family and everything else.
In the comments there, it's a crime not to pay Gini his worth. Well, I'd imagine our worth and Gini's worth, I'll say the club's worth and Gini's worth are maybe ways apart. That's the thing. Like, you can't be just handing out big contracts to 30-year-olds who are on the wane. It doesn't work like that. Look at our wage bill. We do need to trim it somewhere. People go on about the money men, this, that, and the other. We still have to run a ship at the end of the day. So if you're taking the 70k that Gini's on and you're splitting that up and you're giving some of that to Alisson and some of that to Fabinho, who are about younger and closer to that prime than Gini Wijnaldum, and you're extending them, that's more important in the main for me than just one. So it's always the bigger picture with things like this.
Our fan base,
if you're giving Gini 30 is not young. Stefan Mark is saying 30 is young.
Yeah.
It's not young, Stefan.
Not in Klopp
Look at him
years.
for the last 6 months of this season. He's been running around with ankle weights on.
Yeah.
He's not going to get fitter. His game is based on him being energetic and getting around the pitch. He's not like a Thiago. He's not going to start whipping, zinging passes around and running the game. His game is based on him charging around the pitch, being box to box. Now, don't get me wrong. You could play him as a false nine and out on the left, but he's never done that for us.
Yeah.
So, not that 30 is old, but giving a 30-year-old a 200 grand a week or 180 grand, 150 grand a week contract for 3 years, that's a big commitment to a fella who's giving you his best years. That's the way of looking at it.
But surely,
look about Milner. We got Milner for free. So no matter what we gave him, Milner has been worth it because we got him for free. That's the thing. Now, I understand we're letting Genie go for nothing, but that's the thing about those. Suarez, 34, we'd be getting Suarez for free. You get him for a year. That's the thing. He's closer to the goal. Genie Wijnaldum's game revolves around him being energetic and getting around. And if you just look at the second half of the season, he struggled because he's bollocks. He's been ran into the ground. He can go to Inter Milan now or wherever he ends up and play as a number 10 in Italy where the game is way slower and it'll suit him. It'll be more beneficial to him in the long run, I think. So it's not a crime at all. It's smart business. It's smart business.
It's ruthless.
It's actually, we need hungry young wolves in the team again next year.
Can I tell you what I do in the summer? Can I tell you what I do?
Yeah, go ahead, Gav.
So Kanate is one that looks like it's done, right? So Van Dijk, Gomez, Kanate, I'd sign one more. I don't know if it's Kabak though.
It's Kabak.
Well, if it's Kabak, I'm good with that, but I keep Nat Phillips as my fifth choice and I'd sell Matip, right? Because he just can't get on the pitch. Simple as that. And as Shane Davin says, what's the Shane Davin says? The biggest
availability is the best ability.
Yes, there you go. The best ability is availability. He loves it. And that's for me. I'd cut my ties with Matip, and he's a brilliant centre back when he's on the pitch, but he's just not there enough, and we can't go down that road anymore. I keep Phillips as fifth choice. If it was me, I'd keep Wijnaldum, and I'd sell Naby Keita.
Well, I don't think it's got to do with that guy.
No, I know. This is my point of view. All right, in a perfect world,
in a perfect world, 20 minutes of Keita and give every penny to Genie. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I don't. In a footballing sense, I think there's more value to this squad in keeping Wijnaldum than it is Keita. All right,
yeah, but it's not.
But it's not going to be like that. I get that.
Keita's staying.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get that. So I would have kept Wijnaldum, but I know it's very, very slim chance of happening. I'd still sell Keita.
Absolutely.
I'd still sell Keita, and what I'd do is I'd sell Keita and I would go and I would sign Basuma and Hassem Aouar. That's what I would do. And then up front, I'm not fucking about. I'm just going into Jadon Sancho and I'm saying, listen, we want you. We can pay the money. Do you want to come and play for us? I get the whole signing the right player for X amount and signing, but you've also spoken about the next spine of this team. He could be fucking huge for Liverpool. So for me, I would absolutely go in and sign Jadon Sancho to go with Jota, Firmino, Mane and Salah. And I would say there's a front five, and whatever we can make back from other players, we make up back from other players. But I think overall our squad would fill the gaps that would be left, but have more quality and more reliability. That's
You've been reading my notes. I love it. You've been reading my notes.
Lads, I'm going to ask you quick questions before we go because we kept these people long enough. And so, player of the season, best game of the season, and one player you would sign from the bottom three if you had to. So, Grizz, go. Best player of the season, please.
Mohamed Salah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's the only answer.
I think anyone else going to want to go against Mohamed Salah?
Yeah,
Key decision.
No, you can't. There's no
this is interesting. Usually we don't always agree on everything, so this will be interesting. Carry on.
You can't in this.
Let's see. What's the next question? Let's go.
You could say Nat Phillips, and you're just
But that's the
making a movie
season.
ourselves.
We're talking about the
That's it.
season.
But
Some
that's what I
Fabinho
mean.
shouts
That's the
back.
only Fabinho.
Fabinho missed a load of games as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no one that's even close to fucking Salah this season.
Yeah, no, I think Salah is a mile off everyone else. Best or favourite game? Seany. Or jump in, lads, if you have one.
West Brom.
Alisson.
Yeah.
It's the moment.
Big moment. It seems like it's such an easy one, but it was the shot in the arm I needed anyway as a football fan. It might be a bit of recency. There's been some unbelievable performances. Leicester at home, Wolves at home, brilliant performances. West Ham away, excellent. Some really good performances. The Spurs just at Christmas there, which felt like a huge game. Bobby scores in the last minute. There was fans in the ground. But for me, it's West Brom away because the moment of the season for me. And that's why it's the game of the season. That'll be the biggest takeaway from this year. And that's why I think 100%.
West
People
Brom.
are saying Palace 7-0. We were actually
Yeah,
8 shots on target.
8 shots, yeah. It wasn't a great game, a 7-0 win.
Right, so Seany's gone with West Brom. Keith, game of the season?
Yeah, it's hard. I agree with everything Seany said there because it's got the moment of the season. Do you know what I mean? It's got one of the best moments that we've seen as Liverpool fans. It's hard. Just to throw it, I'd say United away was another big game and another good game because of the build up to it where they rested all that. And look, I wouldn't have it. Man United can do what they want. I think it's ridiculous that teams get punished for resting players. I think you have a squad, you play who you want in that squad. But the fact that they brought in fellas that were bleeding, wouldn't get a game, any other time, and they brought these lads in, which again, it's their right to do. Thinking this is set up, to carry on with the protests, all that stuff, everything about that game, and that was going to be the nail. And even among ourselves, when we were looking at our games left among the Daytrippers and all that, it's like, oh well, that's we can do the other games. United away, tricky, and we went in there and we fucking battered them. In fairness, they started off well and we got on top and we were excellent in that game. Do you know what I mean? They got a goal back. They didn't deserve to be back. We were brilliant there. So just for the sake of something different, I'm going for United away as the game of the season.
Okay, Grizz, game of the season.
No need to add anything on to Keith. I'm totally in agreement with Keith, and for the fact that I absolutely turned into a believer after that game. Before that,
you did.
I did. No, I did.
Didn't.
No, I did.
You didn't. You didn't. No, you didn't. No, hold on a minute. I asked you last week. I asked you last week with 2 games left. How many points would you get? And you said 4. That does not make you a believer. Don't bullshit me.
I had to carry on acting the maggot. All right.
No. Don't pretend you're acting the maggot now. You were asked publicly. You were asked publicly how many points you thought Liverpool would get from the final 2 games, and you said 4.
We needed the views.
I don't care how many views we have. I don't care how many likes we have. How many subscribers we have. I asked you a question last week, and you answered 4.
You did, but honestly.
So how can you tell me? Hold on. Whoa.
You could ask my kids.
I don't want to fucking ask your kids. I asked you when you gave me 4.
I know you asked me.
7 from.
If I'd have asked your kids, he would have been more of a supporter in Liverpool and said 6. But I asked you.
You can ask my kids. You can ask Avi. Same thing. Kids and Avi, right?
Anyone else from your payroll that we can
can't ask Akif.
Because I had acted the maggot before that, right? The Man United game was the one. I knew we're getting top 4 because that performance was stunning with the history of Man United Liverpool. Despite
the fact that after that you were asked how many points we get and you said 4 and miss out on Champions League.
Yeah.
The 4 days after that game, you said 4 points and missed Champions League.
Context behind
but after that Manchester United game, you were a believer.
Total believer. But I don't want to. Well, it is what it is. So that's why
Grizz has made a mistake. You made a mistake, Grizz, of making an opinion and refusing to get off that opinion. You've died on falling on your sword on that crappy opinion.
I changed it. It was a facade after that.
Yeah, Grizz has dual responsibilities now. He's not only the minister for patting himself on the back, he's actually the minister for 180 tons as well. Yeah. So
Tony Hawks.
Tony
Grizz Hawks.
Grizz will be
We digress. Man United.
Okay.
Grizz will be on some BBC panel trying to get into bleeding Parliament now before we know it. We'll never see him on the Fatback 4 again.
Come here. Somebody else mentioned the game here, and actually, the minute I seen it, I was like, that is the game of the season. It's Atlanta away. It's definitely Atlanta away. We are so fucking good that night. It was unbelievable.
Rhys Williams was unreal. And do you know what? Let's give that young fella his flowers, actually.
Yeah.
Let's give Rhys Williams his flowers. Let's be honest. He's been getting bashed around bleeding WhatsApp groups and all, but he done a fucking job for us. People might not like that, but he's a kid who did a job for us. And that's all we ever asked of the kid. And fair fucking play to him, because on more than one occasion, there was people talking about how he was going to get bullied in this game and that game. And he was absolutely superb at Anfield against fucking Harry Kane, who believed when he was playing golf with Gary Neville the other day that it's the second coming of R9 with actual knees. So fair play to the kid, and all the best to him, because I'm not sure his future's at Liverpool, but he'll be remembered for what he's done here, I'm sure.
Yeah, you take huge credit from it. But Atalanta was an amazing game. I have to be honest, I loved Spurs at home. I did love Spurs at home. You know, Firmino's last minute winner and all, and you know, and we had problems at centre half for that game, and you know, Spurs Mourinho came and absolutely bottle jobbed it. But I thought that was a really one I really liked. One player you would sign from the bottom three if you had to, Grizz.
Bottom three, one player. If we weren't signing Kabak,
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, I don't know his first name. Anderson. I think Joachim Anderson.
Yeah,
the Fulham centre back.
Okay, Keith.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. Anguisse is good off Fulham as well, but I'd probably look at maybe a Sanderberg or something like that off Sheffield United.
Okay, Seany.
Yeah, weird one. A player I've always liked, but I don't even know whether he belongs to them. But he played for the bottom three. I like Loftus-Cheek. I think he's a very good player.
Yeah, he is.
And I think Pereira from West Brom will be a decent player for whoever gets him in the Premier League this year. I know Zambo, as some people are inclined to call him.
Stop.
Seems to be a good player. Say Pereira. Do you know what? Ariola's not a bad shout for backup, but I'll be happy with Keller. Wouldn't sign fucking any of them. We're going from the big boys this year. Get away.
Mate, stop this talk. Who asked that question?
It was a question asked earlier on. It was just a question that was asked.
Is he on Twitter? I'm fucking blocking.
Listen, he'll sing you fucking. He'll sing you Lady in Red, and then you'll unblock him.
Yeah.
None of this fucking scrapping the barrel bullshit, man. We're going big.
Well, listen. That is more or less the last Fatback 4 of the season, but we will be out throughout the season. We will be here throughout the summer, I suppose. We will do stuff around the Euros. We're going to do stuff around our transfer agenda shows. We're going to do loads of quizzes, loads of drafts, loads of stuff to keep you going throughout the summer. It's very important that if you want anything done, you have an idea, get onto us, get onto our Discord, let us know. You know, send us a private message on Twitter, or email us, wherever it might be. You know us, we're up for doing anything. So we will absolutely keep you going throughout the summer. We've huge plans for next season that will kick off on the first week of August. We have extra shows being added, extra people being added, people being moved around into different slots, more familiar faces on screen as much as we possibly can going into next season. We've drawn up a plan. We hope to get it over the line between now and the 1st of August, when we will be 100% back, and you will see everything work.
We'll be doing shows from the studio as well again.
Yeah, well, that's it. With the COVID stuff easing, we're looking to do some work on our studio, so the forum will most definitely come from there. We've planned to bring Grizz over once or twice a month and do our Fatback 4 from there. And look, we've loads going on, but the only way you can help us is simple. You like the stuff, you share the stuff, you subscribe, and you give us feedback. The feedback is huge, absolutely huge. So if you can do that over the summer,
mates as well. Just
tell your man.
Your man tell the butcher. The butcher tell the young player who comes down getting pounded sausages for his man.
Your man is the best way of spreading the word, because man spread word like there's no fucking tomorrow. That's the way it goes. But listen, we do have huge plans. Like, we're committed this season. We're even more committed for next season. It's actually stupid what we're trying to do, but we're going to absolutely have a go at it. But before we go, you might have seen a show during the week about a girl called Sienna. Now, Sienna is a 3-year-old, and she has she needs treatment in America, basically. She can't get it in Ireland or Europe. She has to go to St. Louis in America. Okay, so it's a form of cerebral palsy. But if she can get this money, she can go off, and when she gets this treatment, it will make her live a much more free and full life, you know, with the use of our legs and not having stiffness and pain. And I know this because I only recently realised there's a guy that lives very close to me who's had the same, his child had the same issue and went off and got this treatment, and this young lad that's been in a wheelchair for the vast majority of his life, it looks like he's ready to get out of his wheelchair and walk and live a much fuller life. So when I see this young lad very close to me, I actually, do you know what? I know his father, and I'm digressing now, but I think I know his father from years and years ago, but I've only kind of seen him now, realised that I knew him from years and years ago. And this young lad looks like he's progressing exceptionally, and with a bit of luck, we can do the same for Sienna. So what we've done is, we have a GoFundMe, we have a 5k challenge that you can sign up to, and we've also launched Sienna's own range of merchandise. And basically what happens is you can go to www.lfcdt.com/Sienna. It's in the show description. And when you go in there, you can click on that, and in the Sienna page, you will see the link to the GoFundMe. You can sign up for €20 for yourself to do the 5k challenge. If you want to sign for €20 and the whole family do it, that's fine. €20 and get 20 years to do it. We don't care. And you post your time to us and we have a bit of crack on that. The third thing is the Sienna range. We've recently launched some merchandise, which I'll tell you about in a minute. But part of that was the Sienna range. And basically every single penny we make from anything with Sienna written on it is going straight back to Sienna. We're not taking a penny of it. Nothing. So get in there, buy yourself some car stickers, buy yourself some cushions, t-shirts, hoodies for the kids, whatever it might be, because it'll help spread the word for this girl. And the work we try to do with Keane has got him more or less over the line, and we want to do this for the same girl who's not much older than Keane and suffering and having to go to America for this treatment. So me, Seany, Keith, Grizz, all the day trippers are asking you to go and literally click on our website, click the link for Sienna. You'll see all our details, every single link to how you can help. And between us and you, over the next couple of months, we hope to raise enough money to get her to America.
I know a few of the lads are doing forfeits after certain amount of donations. I know a few of the lads. So if you want to throw a few things in the comments that I can do as a forfeit in the comments after the video, because if you throw them in now, they won't be seen. So throw them in after the video. And then we'll give the boss Gav the key, the range to pick one out, as long as it's you know what, no matter what it is, we'll give it a bash. So
do you like your hair, Sean?
Yeah. And let Gav set a goal. It's out and writing now. It's all for a bit of crack, but at the end of the day, it's lovely to think that you can make a genuine change to someone's life long term. Because look, spade is spade. We're just four lads on here shooting shite, talking about football most weeks, and we do it because not only we enjoy it, but obviously we've got a lovely community now, so to speak. The lads in the chat, the people in the chat who've kept us going all season as well, because it's not just got to do with us, you know what I mean? It's got to do with you as well. You carry us as well for most of this season as well. So it's kind of goes hand in hand. But to know that you can genuinely make change, it's a nice feeling. So throw out a few suggestions there in the comments, and I'll let Gav be there.
150 tickets. 150 tickets sold for the 5k challenge, and Seany has to go live in Cardiff on Shannon. You know, for that, Seany? Well, Keith throwing himself on the canal at 100 tickets, which is amazing.
Which is, you know, the caveat on that one.
I've asked Grizz to do. I've asked Grizz to shave his beard at 75, but he hasn't confirmed. Me and Andy are playing blindfolded golf for just 25 tickets, and of course, David Lennon is going on a train dressed as Amanda serves food and handing out cans of heart as if people have ordered them. Okay, so there you go. But look, it's, as I always say, when this sort of stuff comes up, it takes over. It becomes our main goal. We love doing content. We love the Discord groups, Twitter, social media, having the crack. And eventually, when COVID goes, we can all meet up and have the crack somewhere, whether it be Dublin or Liverpool or wherever it might be.
Cabinet is saying, Seany, go live from I'm in Cardiff on Shannon now, so it's no use, you know what I mean?
That's somewhere else.
I'll
need to
tell
get
you
somewhere
what,
else.
I'll give away the tree as well. The tree is still at home. I have it there. I never sold it. So
You'll raffle off the tree if you get it.
Yeah.
But look,
and I
just
put that new lovely kit on it as well.
listen, I'll hound people to help us out with this. If you just buy the tickets for the €20 tickets and do your 5k, and as I said, if you can't afford the 20, go and put a fiver in the GoFundMe and do 5k. Put a tenner in GoFundMe. Or if you have the €20 and you want your family to go, get your family to walk it. Take a picture of your family after doing the 5k. It's all about spreading word. See hashtag Sienna Steps. That's what it's all about. And we're going to do our absolute utmost. And as I said, if you go onto our website, click shop, anything with Sienna written on it, anything you buy, every single penny of profit from them products will go to Sienna. We have launched our merchandise as well. You've been asking for months and months and months, so we have launched it. I think there's 6 or 7 designs up there at the moment. Our goal is to add 2 designs every week, and they will range from Liverpool players, stuff about Liverpool, retro stuff, whatever it might be, across a massive range of stuff. If you can support us in that, that's absolutely brilliant. And as I said, feedback is key. So if you have an idea in your head that you'd like to see on a t-shirt or a coffee mug or whatever, let us know and we'll try our best to do something up for you. But I think that's about it. I think it's been a brilliant season on the Fatback 4 and overall on the LFC Daytrippers. The lads are back tomorrow. The forum's back. We're not stopping. Like the lads are back tomorrow on the forum. Joe Walsh's topic for tomorrow's show at 10 to 4 this afternoon was Joe Walsh wants to talk about how Liverpool didn't make and the reasons why Liverpool didn't make the Champions League, but he wants to change his topic now. But look, they'll be back on tomorrow with the forum. The midweek fix will be on during the week. We will be starting our transfer agenda show, I think, next week. But if anything happens, we'll jump on. And the Friday forecast will continue throughout the summer, but that's going to be obviously not forecasting games. We're going to be looking at, I think, Liverpool's European runs over the last couple of years. So there's loads going on. And as I said, feedback is key. Seany, anything else before we go?
No, that's it. Just the end of a mad season. Thanks everyone for tuning in. And thanks for the work behind the scenes that Gav, Grizz and Keith do. Like, you don't see the lads live, eat and breathe this stuff, and a lot does go into it. So fair play to the lads and fair play to everyone for tuning in. And again, share this out to your mates, because again, I think we're on the ascendancy here at the LFC Daytrippers. It's only going to get better, and it's all for you as a benefit. So thanks again, everyone, and hit the like button and before you go out. Literally, it's free. That's all I say. It's free.
It is free, and it'll always be free. As people are throwing in a super chat there for Sienna, the best thing to do is go on into the show description, go to the GoFundMe and put it in there, because YouTube take a percentage. But we have committed to every penny earned from YouTube and audio downloads and super chats and stuff like that for the month of June from the LFC Daytrippers will be going straight to Sienna as well. So, but if instead of super chats, the best thing to do is put it straight into the GoFundMe. Grizz, are you shaving that beard at 175 tickets? Sorry, and anything else before we go?
No, nothing else to say, and discuss in private, please.
I want to be solicitor.
I'll dye me hair blonde like the boys in
Robbie Fowler.
all the Romanian lads. Italian 90, was it? Was it Italian 90?
No, it was a 90.
USA.
Was it? Or?
USA was.
Megan says she's going to miss this show on a Sunday night. Megan says she's going to miss this show on a Sunday night. What are you missing? We're not going nowhere. We'll be here all summer. Don't be worried about that. We'll always have someone on here on a Sunday night. It mightn't be us four at all times, but we'll definitely have people on a Sunday night. We're going to try stick to our schedule as much as we can. But, you know, the Fatback 4 could be a quiz night, because there's obviously no football going on, but we'll absolutely have people on.
I want me belt, by the way. I want me belts for them quizzes.
Yeah, belts? You want like Rey Mysterio belts?
Yeah, like I want with the spinners and all, and I'm like John Cena. I'll be going around with them.
I'll see what we can do. Keith, anything else before we go?
Now, look, as Seany said, at the end of a good year on the Fatback 4, a satisfactory year in the Premier League, all's well that ends well with Liverpool. But, a lot of work does go into this, and we enjoy it. And that's the important thing, is that we enjoy it.
I just thought of it. Just thought of a forfeit for Grizz. If you sell 150 tickets, Grizz has to do a whole show in David Moyes' accent.
We haggis.
Sean Dice.
I could have done
Yeah,
Sean
we had
Dice, man. Fuck's sake.
Last week you could have, you were in this.
Yeah, my throat. I could have done that.
Sorry, Keith. I cut across.
No, yeah, well worth it. Well worth it. Now, look, it's been a good year. A lot of hard work goes into it, but we do hope you enjoy it, and we hope that personally, I think the show is just growing and growing and growing. And as Gav said, next year it's not going to be staying the same. We're going to be moving and trying to push it forward as well. So we appreciate all the support we get through the year. Nothing's going to stop. We're going to be still going hell for leather throughout the summer. We'll have plenty of stuff to talk about. The Ayatollah of YNWA, who's underneath me here, will be back doing transfer nonsense from tomorrow, I'd say. So we're going to be...
Started a half an hour ago, I'd say.
Yeah, it's going to be heavy tack now for the summer. We won't be going on here. Euros can go and shite. Like, I'm watching me hair the night the Euro shows are on, but we'll see what else we can do. But look, we'll be staying here and growing. And as Gav said, the stuff for Siena, do what you can for that. We don't want to be coming across like we're, paragons of virtue, or we're above, pontificating about this and that. But we see a good cause and we try to back it as much as we can. So we appreciate any support and help with that as well. But other than that, nice.
Absolutely. We're not going to stop on the Siena stuff. It's going to be everywhere now across all our shows and in our show descriptions on our social media. It's on our website, it's on our shop, it's on everywhere. So so help if you can help out with that, absolutely brilliant. Grizz is going mad now because we're trying to get him to do forfeits. But as the only thing we can promise you is that from the Fatback 4, the season ends tonight, but as I said, the forum's on, the midweek fix. We will bring you as many shows as we possibly can between now and the start of next season. That's all we can promise you. There'll be a mad mix of stuff, but it's always entertaining. It's always a laugh. And look, you can only talk about transfers for so long. You need to have a bit of laugh as well, and the summer's the time to absolutely do that. Hopefully COVID clears up and we can organise stuff where people can meet up with us and do a show. We can do live shows, or we can meet up and all pretend we can play fucking instruments like we were going to months ago and have a few beers.
I learned the tin whistle and all.
You learned the tin whistle. I was learning the banjo. Grizz was playing the triangle, I remember. But look, as I said, we're going to bring as many shows as we can, and we promise that it's going to be bigger and better next season. It absolutely is. That has been the Fatback 4. Liverpool have made it into the top 4, and somebody reminded me of a quote when Liverpool won the league, where me opening words in a podcast where Liverpool are the champions of the Premier League and the rest of you can go fuck yourselves. The same stance tonight. Over and out.
Yeah.